And while the vast majority of Americans are tirelessly working hard to get this country and their lives back on track, sadly, predictable people, Democrats, their allies, their state-run television media mob gleefully looking for ways to politically bludgeon President Trump. Same repulsive people as usual. We won't spend a lot of time on them right now. But some on the left publicly now are actually stating a desire to use a national emergency and a pandemic as an opportunity for them to reshape America into a far-left Green New Deal socialist utopia. Now, recently, the ever-confused Joe Biden, remember that he was running for president, held a fundraiser. During that fundraiser, high-dollar donors, quote, he said, because of this COVID crisis, I think people are realizing, my Lord, look at what is possible. Look at the institutional changes that we could make. And he said he was excited by the opportunity. So what is the kind of institutional changes the ever-forgetful Joe is excited about? His former colleague in the Senate, remember Ed Markey, he just tweeted 22 million Americans are out of work. We need to rescue our economy and create millions of new union jobs. We need a Green New Deal. We're in the middle of an emergency trying to save lives here, guys. No more planes, no more combustion engine, no more cows, no more oil and gas, windmills, regulation, socialism, and a destruction of the American free market economy. In a since-deleted tweet, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez was celebrating the crash of oil prices, writing, "You absolutely love to see it. This alone, with record-low interest rates, means it's the right time for a worker-led mass investment in green infrastructure to save our planet." Congresswoman, are you that ignorant? You don't understand. Millions and millions of high-paying career jobs of Americans will disappear in a second. And by the way, oil and gas are the lifeblood of the world's economy, in spite of your fantasies about 10 years, 12 years from now. To that end, she's now calling for workers of the world to unite. She wants them to boycott working. Another genius idea, isn't it? You can't, in the middle of a national emergency, even make this stuff up. It's there for the viewing. Take a look.
When we talk about this idea of reopening society, only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say, no, we're not going back to that. We're not going back to working 70-hour weeks just so that we could put food on the table and not even feel any sort of semblance of security in our lives.
She's not working 70 hours a week. Nancy Pelosi has everybody home, apparently with a lot of time on their hands. Democratic Party, they're expressing plans to flush capitalism, liberty, freedom, that would be in our Constitution as well, everything else that makes this country great, right down the drain, and they're not alone. Meanwhile, Americans are dying to get back to work. You have the United Nations tweeting, quote, in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, when economic stimulus packages composed of infrastructure are designed, there's a real opportunity for long-term systemic shifts with green packages. And even fake news CNN. Why would they want to be left behind? From staying home to keeping a metered distance from each other, the coronavirus pandemic has drastically changed the way we live. Why not do the same for the environment? Oh, airline industries, let's kick them in the teeth while they're down. And newsbusters.org, they just reported the mob and the media across multiple outlets hoping that our lockdown leads to a major reset and permanent changes for climate. People are still dying. We're trying to save lives. Take a look.
The world is suddenly learning what can happen if humans stop polluting the environment.
Something to think about there. Many people see this as a major reset for humanity and the planet.
From wildlife to the environment, Al will explore the benefits of those shelter-in-place orders across the country and around the world. We do have some positive news on this Earth Day.
The coronavirus has been just a terrible crisis, a health crisis, an economic crisis, and it's just turned everything upside down. But we thought you'd want to know about some surprising ways that it's actually helping our planet.
This is a great moment, a moment of pause for all of us to realize that our choices do impact the environment around us.
How do I say this nicely? in this profession, and it is a profession, we have some really dumb people. Well, anyway, that would surely destroy our way of life. That would put many Americans out of work. We're trying to get the country up and running again. Every step of the way, many on the left, mob media, trying to use coronavirus as what is a cold, calculated political weapon to advance their radical agenda. Over the past several months, they have used it, of course, to bludgeon President Trump. Of course, he's a racist, a xenophobe, a fearmonger, even accused him pretty much of killing Americans. Pelosi using the emergency government relief packages as a personal piggy bank for her favorite liberal causes, withholding money for hospitals and workers and small business and large business. Why? So she can get $150 million to the National Endowment for the Arts and Humanities, $25 million for the Kennedy Performing Arts Center, $75 million for PBS and National Propaganda Radio. And she attempted to change election and immigration laws on top of it. Remember, workers were waiting. They needed the help. Same with hospitals. And for the past week, she's been held up. She held up funding for small business paycheck protection, the PPP plan, to gain some kind of political leverage yet again. Ultimately, she caved and funded the program, and her radical Democratic colleagues are not happy. Nancy, she took 5 minutes away from eating her designer ice cream. Take a look.
We don't know what's in the package yet. We only know what's been reported. But I think what you're hearing from all of us on the call is that we have real concerns about giving away leverage now without getting some of the priorities that we need.
Small businesses in this country, they are desperate. Many are taking pay cuts. They are trying to keep their employees employed. And that Congresswoman is only concerned about giving up political leverage. Sick, ugly, twisted, radical, repulsive. That's your new modern extreme Democratic Socialist Party and mob in the media. They're looking out. Well, they're not looking out for you. Their extreme socialist agenda, their Green New Deal, apparently more important. Pelosi needs to get on her big carbon footprint private jet. She can bring her designer ice cream and her big expensive freezer with her. If she doesn't want to bring it, I'll mail it to her. I'll find a way. Get back to Washington. She needs to get back to work passing coronavirus legislation, the business of the country, because everybody else is working. The farmers are farming, the packers are packing, the truck drivers delivering, the guys in New York, Long Island, they are stocking the shelves. Our medicines are here. The healthcare equipment is being made and sent also.